Hello and welcome to Mama G's Coffee Corner. My name is Mary Jane Tracy. I'm a psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and an astrologer. And I'm coming to you daily, trying to come to you daily and bringing you the shenanigans of the planets. And what are the shenanigans of the planets? And what are the planets doing? And what's going on with everything? Man, I been busy this morning. It's been a busy morning, and I've been really doing some research, I guess, or looking into different information that's been coming to me and how it's correlating to the energies of the astrology. And that's what I've been finding very interesting is when I, look into the astrology and I look into history, or somebody mentions something and I, I Google, and then I find out about the history, and then I go into the astrology with that, and, or find a book that's going to give me that information, or look into it even further. And how is that correlating to us today? And how is that relating to us today? And what are the energies trying to show us and bring us to in our world, in this crazy, crazy world, I think for many people, they're on week 9 or 10 of lockdown or pandemic, or, I don't know, what do you want to call the situation of the crazy, right? So we're in this, and this is where, when I'm looking at, going into my notes here, looking into all of this is like, this is where I feel everybody is. And this is where I got this, everybody's in their own home, or in their own, this energy form. And the energy form is a place where they have created. So it's let's say we're going to call it a dome. We're going to have your dome. This is your dome. And everybody has many different little domes that they have created, that they have, or greenhouses that they have. I like greenhouses. So they have all these different greenhouses. Some greenhouses you've kept up, some greenhouses you haven't kept up. So we have all these different places. And some of them there that when we go in, it is like, the ones that we haven't kept up, or the ones that we don't want to deal with anymore, or we're done with. There is kind of like a blackness over top, and we're trying, and sometimes we get stuck in those greenhouses that we've been trying to create, or we get stuck into these places that we were trying to create. And so that we want to fix them in some way, even though they're done, even though it's no longer that we need to fix anything in there. It's done. But we are still in there. We're still feeling that parts are missing. And now we want to integrate it or make it better in some way. And this is where, in order for us to have a place or have a world that we want to live with, we got to accept it all. We got to accept the integration of all it is that is within our lives, and allowing ourselves to integrate with all that is within our own lives. And that is a huge piece, because there are parts that are missing, right? And we got to accept, and some of those parts that are missing are parts that we have pushed aside, or we don't want to utilize. In order for us to become into a world that is more integrated, more apart, it comes up to not the government. It doesn't come up to the government. It doesn't come up to your municipality. It doesn't come up to your boss. It doesn't come up to the person next door. It comes up to you making your life that whole. You taking that of what is within your life, those different greenhouses, and saying, this is what I need to integrate as a whole. This is what I need to be coming into. But what happens is that, and I've seen this, where people get their pride in the way. Their pride gets in the way, and they're not, and they, with this, it's not allowing them, us, you, me, to move into this newness or this new world, this new energy, because we are wanting to either fix something that we can't fix anymore, afraid to become that leader because we're afraid of what has happened in the past. We don't want to accept these parts that we need to start to accept, but we need to be taking all parts of ourselves as we are going forward, all parts of ourselves. We can't leave any of our trash around. We can't leave the trash around. We can't leave that and just say, it's like, you go camping. When you go camping and you're done camping, you pick everything up, you pick up all your trash, whatever you leave the place the way you found it. And then you go back, or you go into your home or wherever it is that you're going from there. This is what we are heading towards. This is what this energy is trying to get us to do. But there's so many that don't want to take that responsibility of themselves, don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to look at parts of their past. They want to hide it away, or they want to make themselves bigger and better than other people when they're not even looking at their own selves, or blaming. How many posts I've seen about blaming the prime minister, blaming the president. Look at all the shit he's done, blah, blah, blah. Well, what are you doing in your life? What are you doing to take the responsibility and cleaning your house and taking that responsibility for your own house? That means your mental, spiritual, and your well-being, because it has to start with you. It can't start by the powers that be. And I've always said this, it's a grassroots. And in the grassroots, we got to start with our own individuality of who we are and accepting who we are, all the good and the bad and the ugly, taking all those pieces because they are all parts of ourselves. And I feel that with these different, as we get stuck in these different places, like there's this blackness over top, this blackness, and it's our fear of leaving this life, a fear of leaving this, of like, oh, I can't leave this unattended, and you haven't attended it for a while, or I can't leave this relationship, I can't leave this job, I can't do this because I have these responsibilities. But in it, you're not being your true authentic self. You're not really taking that responsibility of you. And this is where I feel, and what I've been seeing in the last little while, like I've been up since 5 actually, with information coming through. This is where this passage may seem so high. Like we're looking at this darkness or this dome over top, and we're trying to get up there, but there's no way of getting up there. Instead of looking at it and saying, but why am I here? Why am I in this spot? Because I could be over there. I can accept what is here, and I can accept what this is. This was a part of me. This was a relationship. This was a place where I was, but it is no longer a part of me, but I accept it. And I allow it to be a part of me, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be that person who is able to move into that new place. And by realizing in your dome, in your greenhouse, the space that you don't have to be there, and letting go of that energy, and I'm not going to be a part of it. This is part of the responsibility of cleaning things up. When we start to clean things up, when we're starting to look at our own selves and look at our own integration of what is going on, then we are able to create a world that is more harmonious and love and caring for others. But when we are there pointing fingers at other people and saying, well, look at them, look at them, look at them, but not pointing at ourselves, because we don't want to look at ourselves. We'd rather look at others and point fingers at other people, because it's easy. It's easy. It's easy to say, oh, look at that fucking bitch. Oh, look at her. Look at that. But this is where I feel, and my guides are coming in so strong, that this is about us to become a world that is open, a world that is able to, excuse me, celebrate each individual person. But it has to start with us. It has to start with you. It has to start with your own integration of you. It does not start with your neighbor. It does not start with your others. It doesn't start with the powers that you feel that are be. Because if you are allowing that power to be, then you are just allowing them to take over your own life. Take over, and you are not taking responsibility anymore. You are allowing for these things to happen. And this is where we start to become those light beings. This is where we start to become that higher and integrating that superhuman part of ourselves. And I said superhuman. And that superhuman part is all within all of us. We all have parts that we need to come together and be able to go on to. And I remember saying this years ago. We need to, like, some people are going to be like, there's already a divide in the consciousness. There's already a divide. So it's like, where is that you wish to be? Right? There is this divide that's there. And some stay over on this side over here and staying over on this side over here because it's so easy. It's easy. I can just say, oh, all right, I'm not going to take responsibility for my finances anymore. I'm not going to take responsibility. I just let it go. Just going to let it go. But over here, we have to integrate. And over here, the grass is so much greener. The grass is more, there's more of the freedom. There's more of a connection. But right over here, there isn't a lot of people yet. And sometimes we're afraid to go somewhere where there's not a lot of people yet. It hasn't been tried and true. But in our souls, we know, in our souls are telling us this is what we have to do, and allow ourselves to integrate all of those pieces that are a part of us that we may not like. And that's okay, because in bringing that over, then that allows us for that freedom, because all of those little parts of us that we don't like, or the things that we don't like to highlight about ourselves, allow us to be more free, because we're coming into the place of acceptance. We're coming into a place that is going to allow us to accept on who we are. And this is the moment of the new earth. Because those fragmented pieces, that lost luggage, we need to collect. We need to collect, and we need to bring it together. And why don't we have confidence? Why is there so much breaking? Because we're afraid. We're afraid to stand up. We're afraid to speak. We're afraid to call out and say, no, that's not my thing anymore. I don't want to be in this decrepit hotel anymore where I'm not being respected. This is where I don't want to be. I'm going to move somewhere else. But moving somewhere else, that means I have to accept where I was. And accepting where I was, that means going to somewhere new, going to a new place. That means then I can integrate that and take what I have learned in order to make something better. That means I got to go through the door. I got to go through the door on my own. And sometimes going through the door on my own, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to leave all my relationships and all of this. But going through the door alone means that you are accepting going through there in order to create something greater and bigger than you are. Oh my God, that's so fearful. I would rather be one of those clones and just do the clone thing. I just rather not, just allow for the government or allow for whoever, let them make the choices. And this is where this push is coming in for us. This is where this push, and this is where we are starting to become and having to integrate. And sometimes we don't have the confidence for doing this and breaking. But this is where the light and the inspiration is. And we don't want to leave any of our old stuff or anything on the old earth. We want to take that because that's not our trash bin. We're going to take it because then we can bring things through. And then we can come in, and it's okay to live. It's okay to accept that shittiness that happened into our life and move to a better place. But you, me, all of us have to be 100% responsibility for our own lives. And we have to take that responsibility. As I said, we know there's a split in the collective, and I can see that split in the collective. And over here is very dark, and that's where those dark domes are. And over here, it's very beautiful and light, and there's flowers, and there's fresh air. And trying to find that middle ground is that place of integration. That's where I feel astrology comes in, because it lets you show you that middle ground. Where do you want to be? It doesn't, this is where it's like, okay, got over here. But this is where it doesn't mean, that, it doesn't mean, and this is what I just keep, it doesn't mean you break away and be okay. It doesn't mean you don't move forward. Doesn't mean, okay, hold on. It means that you break away and you'll be okay when you move forward. If you don't move forward, they're saying that is okay. And many people have an issue, or have, when I say break away, is intense. What does that mean to break away? Does that mean if I break away, I don't have what I had before? But what it means is that I no longer am going to stay in that old vibration. I'm no longer going to stay in that old vibration. I'm going to take and I'm going to integrate into something better for myself, because I know that's where I want to go. And you don't want to leave. Sometimes you don't want to leave certain situations. You don't want to leave these certain situations because you feel like there is a sense, or there's a responsibility, but you need to come in to break away, because we're at this cycle. I mean, the Mayans were right. It was in 2012 was the end of the old. That was the end of the old. And we're coming into this 8-year cycle, and here we got Venus retrograde. 8 years later, they're saying, here we go. We're entering into something new, and that we're going to feel it fully begin to integrate in December 21st, winter solstice, as we enter into more of this Aquarius energy. And if you want to know more about this Aquarius energy, what does it mean? That means that when I am able to release that and it's going back, so she's a water bearer. She doesn't go back and fill everybody's water. Because if you keep going back and filling everybody's water, if you keep going back and not wanting to move forward, then you're not going to have anything. But in the age of Aquarius, in order for us to be better and to order for us to help the collective, we need to go forward, and we say, yes, here I've done this for you. I'm going forward now. I don't need to keep going back and going back and going back. Filling that vessel, filling that vessel. It's like, no, I'm done. Thank you. I'm moving forward. I'm not allowing myself to be in that place anymore. This is a new area, and this is where we're going to be stepping into, and we're going to be integrating and stepping into this new energy. And the more that we step into it, the more that we can allow for that change to happen that we want to. Yeah, there's a lot of fear out there. Yeah, there's a lot of, talk about, certain things that are going to be told that we have to do, and certain things that we're told that we can't do. But here it is. What are we allowing? What are we allowing? Because now it's coming into that one side of all mistrusting you, mistrusting your own self, second guessing yourself. And this is where it's like, okay, I get that. I understand that, but I'm not going to be there. I'm stepping over here. I'm going somewhere. I'm going into a place where I know. And here it is where I said, when Mercury met a few weeks ago and he was with Uranus, and I said, that is when he talks to God. That is that intersection in the universe when those planets are by each other, that there is a communication. That is a time to communicate. And now he's in Gemini, he's just speeding along. This is about, okay, what are you asking for? What are you asking? How are you connecting? Everything that I've gotten, I mean, yes, I've asked for it and I've gotten it. It has appeared. It has appeared not always the way I want it to be, but it has appeared for a way in my higher self. And this is where we need to step in. And this is where we need to allow for that energy of the divine, of your God, your goddess, whatever you want to call, to come in and trust. You sent in your order. That means when you send in your order, you send it in and you got to allow it. And that's part of this integration. Where a lot of times we send the order, but then we still stay in the same place and we get and doing the same thing over and over and over again, or trying to fix this one and trying to fix that one. And that's why when we look up, it's like, oh my God, I can't get up there. It's all darkness. Instead of saying, I put in my order, now I'm going to put the steps forward to do it. I'm going to start bringing in what is the best for myself. And that's where this Aquarius energy is. What is the best for me? What is the best for you? And this is a time for many of you, to be the leader. To step into being the leader. But many of you don't want to step into being the leader because there's not too many leaders out there. I don't want to do that. But you're going to be finding that you're going to be forced to, or there's going to be finding that you are going to, there's going to be a part that's going to come in that you have to be open to and allowing to, because you've put the order in. And there's a lot of energy. There's lots of energy, especially with that Venus retrograde, of integrating a lot of your new selves and allowing for that integration of the new selves to come in. And that means as this integration coming in, that means it's like, okay, now I'm asking you to go over here. I'm asking you to do something different. And this is where it's like, whoa, because the sun is kind of edgy at the end of Taurus there, and it's bringing in some edginess, and it's like, is this the foundation that I truly want? Is this the place where I truly want to be? Is this what I feel is right for me? And I see the posts, and it really, when I see someone saying, oh, my work is like this and we have all of this to do, and I really, very frustrated with it. Well, then it's like almost where I feel like walk out the door. If it's so frustrating for you every single day. I know it's scary. It's like, but I have responsibilities. I have to pay the rent. I have to do this. I have to do that. But you're asking God to make a difference for you, but you are not willing to take the risk of allowing for that change to happen. And that's the key in order for us to step into this. Lots of divisions. And I know there's a lot of divisions. And we're pondering and we're questioning our self-worth in our lives. And we're looking at that. And that's very much with that Venus squaring Neptune. There's a lot of pondering there. And the subconscious that is holding you back from manifesting. I can't do that. Or yes, I want to. Or I've done all that work. I don't need to do anything else. But have you done the physical steps of, you don't like the relationship? Are you moving away from it? That's where this is. It's holding back from the communications, holding yourself back and trying, this is where you might be wanting to try and understand other people instead of trying to understand your own self. And this is where standing there and misunderstanding of self, because the word value comes in. Do you know your value? Do you live up to your values? And I know I teach this in Journey Club, and I ask people, because a lot of times we say what we value, but we don't live up to our values. We compromise them. And this is where the energy is saying is like that we can't compromise those values. We can't compromise that. This is where we have to step forward and step into and say, no, this is what I need. And the moon's in Aries, right? So it's ramped up. There's a lot of ramping up here. And it's making some nice aspects over to Venus. So this is a fabulous day, especially emotionally, to really start to look at those parts of our lives and look at those things and bring in it is a fresher feeling of positivity today. And with that Sun in Taurus coming into trining Saturn, and this is coming into the next couple of days of the balsamic phase. So that means that we're ending off a lot of old energy. We're ending all of that, and we're looking at it and we're saying, okay, this is mine. This is all my stuff. Like at the end of the day, one of the practices I do, I integrate all those pieces of myself and bring them back to me. Because they're mine. I don't want to leave my energy anywhere that it does not belong. I don't want to dump it somewhere. It's mine. It's all mine. The good and the bad and the ugly. It's all mine, and I'm going to integrate it. And in that, as I allow myself to step forward, the ones that no longer are a part of me, they're still there, but they're not, because I don't have to live them. I don't have to have them. They just helped me to grow. And we have a new moon this Friday. And this is going to be closing out a lot of chapters for ourselves. And this is where we have to start looking at what do we want to close off, and we understand. Like a lot of things that have happened in my past, if they didn't happen, they wouldn't have brought me to where I am now. Doesn't mean I have to go back there and live them. I'm no longer there. But I accept them, I integrate them in order for me to move forward. If that makes sense to you. This is where we are going to be trailblazing and identifying and stepping in and connecting and allowing ourselves to connect to that higher selves and our higher being. My guides were very like boom this morning and coming in very strongly on us stepping forward and taking responsibility. It is going to be a circus out there in the world and the world around us and seeing things. But the thing is that you can partake in that circus. Do you want to be in the 3-ring circus? Or you can say, hey, that's a good show, but that's not mine. It's not where I want to be. And leaving that tent, leaving that place, and heading where you want to. And sometimes you may not know, and this is why I have you put your order in and allowing it to come forth. Because you will get signs. That's where, Gemini, we're coming into the Pleiadian energy. And the Pleiadian energy is the light worker. It's the superhuman. It's about enlightening ourselves to even something higher and trusting in it. And coming forth into that and coming forth to that beauty of alignment of who we are. There can be a lot of greatness that's going to come out through all of this. But you'll find many of us don't want to do it. It's easier to go along with what is being told than stand up and say, no, that's not what I really want to do. That's not me. And being that leader. And that's going to be the big part that we're going to be seeing over the next several months as things come forward. and bringing in the different integrations that need to be brought in. It's quite interesting. So, my message for today. So for any of you out there, if you're wanting to get a reading or need a reading, my readings are all on a pay scale and they're on Zoom. So if they're starting at $50 all the way up to $160, this will be the last week I'm going to keep them at $50, I think, being the lowest rate, and then going up to $160. So we have those. So if you want to book in, definitely book in. You can get a hold of me at thegurumama@gmail.com or DM me on Facebook and let me know, and we'll get you booked in as soon as I can. We also have the Psychic Development Mediumship class, which is going to be helping you to tune in and tap into your own intuition. And we're also going to go through different steps of showing you that you've already been doing it and how that looks, how that feels, and becoming trustworthy of who you are and trusting your intuition of what is yours and what isn't yours. So that is that class. It's 6 weeks and it's $88. And it is going to be on Zoom. It's going to be live on Zoom and recorded. So if you're interested, please get a hold of me and we'll get you registered. What else is going on? June 7th, we have the open forum. So if you want to come into the open forum for mini readings, they're $25 and it's a limited number of people. So we also have that's coming up too. So we got a lot of cool things that are happening at the Guru Mama House. And also Blessed Circle has asked me to do readings at the store. So I'll be doing readings since we are allowed to be opening up. It is going to be social distancing. There is masks if you want masks, and everything else are supplied if you feel more comfortable. So I will be doing in person on this coming Saturday at Blessed Circle from 11 till 4, I guess. We'll see how light it goes. So, and those are going to be in-person one, but my special does not apply to that. So my special does not apply to the in-person one. Or if you have, if you bought any of the packages from the auction, they don't apply to in-person ones at Blessed Circle. Okay. So just an FYI. So that's, if people want in-person, there is a rate that is there that people have to pay. So I know I have to explain that. But if you do have a package and those are all on Zoom. So mainly all my readings are on Zoom. Nothing happens in my house. I don't take anybody into my house at this time for doing readings. So just an FYI. There we go. Now they left. The guides have gone. They came in like a blaze this morning. So I'm going to send you guys out with so much love today. And it's a very positive day. There's a lot of positive energy there for you in order for you to step forward and start to really begin that journey of your own self-discovery and integration of all those different parts and taking that responsibility that you know that you have to take. So sending you out so much love, and may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you do and all that you say and all that you be. Blessings, everybody. Bye-bye.